Oh, lordy. Do, 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 do. Nope. Dang it. Yeah, I'm about done with this shit. We're gonna see what that cop said still, because I let it play for like a second too long or something to that effect. Like, what? How can you put stuff on YouTube that people can't review? It's fair use. Like, I don't know why they're so adamant on messing with me, but that's okay because I'm getting my own shit. That's why I'm getting my own shit. Hold on. I'm gonna let some people come in. I'm getting my own. This is why I have to submit FOIAs and pay for them because I can't keep doing this shit. This is so aggravating for you too. It's not only me, it's you too. Like, all my numbers drop, everything messes up. It's so ridiculous. And it's not like I'm not fair using it. I am fair using the shit out of it. But this is why I've been submitting FOIAs like left and right. And I submit a FOIA request, and they're like, "Oh, well, it costs this much money, and it's gonna take us, like, 5 months to review the information you requested, so we'll get back to you when we can," you know? I'm like, ugh. I wanted to tell y'all, the person that asked me to look into Blake's Chapel from Newman, Georgia, I'm going to look into that. Well, see, I stopped it and it's transformed because I had the comments up. I wasn't playing the entire video. I was playing the first part of it because it talks about a couple of different stories. So like I don't know. Hold on. Actually. Heck no. I can put that up. Maybe I don't think it'll block it, but I mean, and then I put my chat on stage like that, right? And it should, let me try to put that up there. Excuse me. Maybe it will let me run it like that. I gotta remember to put my banner up, and then it'll let me run it. Okay, so I'm gonna pull it back up, and we're gonna hear what the cop had to say, and hopefully it won't go down again. But see, even at that, yeah, I need to make I have fall overlays because I love fall, but I don't have them in my studio right now, so I have to figure them out. Get them and figure them out. But see, the rabbit there is just like, where my chat is, so anyways, okay, yeah, I'm gonna look into it. Peaches said, "That was me, thank you. I knew his girlfriend and only knew him by passing, but by all accounts, he was such a sweetheart, and I believe his case never got the coverage it deserved." Okay. Do I have narcolepsy? No, I don't have narcolepsy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is a creator that falls asleep on stream. They don't fall asleep, they nod out, and you'll hear in the background, and just the content just fucking plays, and it's like, Jesus, how do you get away with that? I'll never understand it. And you got people that somebody talking about an 8-inch pecker and wanting to breed with a cat, and I'll leave it at that. I don't know. God bless their little hearts. And with that, let's go ahead and see what this officer had to say. And then we'll stop it and I gotta grab some coffee. Actually, I'm gonna grab my coffee real quick. Let me get a different video so I won't get struck while I grab my coffee real quick. We'll watch one of the motivational things again, a different one. Hold on. It's not necessarily motivational, but like different information on things. I found this interesting. So I'll play this while I grab my coffee, and then we will continue to watch because we need to see what the officer said. And I'll pause it every 3 seconds if I fucking have to. because we don't have to watch all of it. I just wanted part of it. So I'm going to play this while I grab my coffee. Let me know what you guys think about this because I found this really interesting too. Now, we might get a little bit into conspiracy theory with this one, but I'm going to tell you why I find this really interesting.
Did you see how the moon is rusting?
What? I've heard about it.
Yep. So there's this kid that took like the most high quality picture of the moon ever taken. And it was like over like 2,000 images that he combined. And you can clearly see that the moon is rusting. And then I saw this on NASA on their website, and the article said, while the moon is airless, research indicates the presence of hematite, a form of rust that normally requires oxygen and water. This has scientists puzzled. Do you know what the word hematite? Hematite is a name that is derived from the Greek word meaning blood. It says, the sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great and awesome day of the Lord comes. And it shall come to pass that everyone who calls in the name of the Lord shall be saved. The term hematite, it's a type of rusting that only occurs with this certain mineral, water and oxygen. But the moon is literally doing that right now. And scientists do not know why.
Okay. So I found that interesting because I don't know if you guys have ever heard, but I've heard before that scientists, NASA or somebody to that effect, hit the moon with a bell. Hit the moon with something and it rang like a bell. So there's allegations out there that the moon is hollow and it was at one point some type of spaceship or something to that effect, right? And it could be how life got started on this planet, et cetera. I mean, we could go on. I could make a whole live stream about it, really. But if the moon rang like a bell, and it is and they talk about the craters on the moon, they're all the same depth, like none go deeper than the other. So there's like a speculation that it could be dust on the moon, and like it doesn't. It's some kind of metal ball sphere that's hollow in the middle. And if that's true, it makes sense that it would somehow like be rusting now, which I found interesting. But yeah, evidently the moon is rusting. I don't know if it's true or not, but don't believe everything you hear on YouTube, but I found that interesting. All right, we're going to hear what the officer had to say, and I'm going to try to play this again. If it goes down, I'll start a damn another one. Hold on.
Indicate foul play.
I want the family to get some type of resolution, but at the same time, I want it the right way.
I mean, I get that. I get that you want it the right way, but he was able to go out and commit this horrific homicide again to somebody else because, in my opinion, you didn't prosecute him correctly the first time.
Whoever did this, I will get charged someday, and when that charge gets filed, it will stick. I promise.
So, wanting the charge to stick, though, you've put somebody else in harm's way. You know what I mean? Back to the moon, Mustang said maybe that's why we haven't been back to the moon. I think that there's a reason we haven't been back to the moon, and I think they know what's there, and there's no reason to go back because why wouldn't they go back unless there was no reason to go back? Blake Chapel. Okay. Chappell. Okay. Got it. I find it interesting that the theme song makes me happy. Aw. Okay.
But now, 7 months after Jessica's disappearance, 10 years after Kara's, breaking news out of Missouri.
I'd like to remind everybody that, we've got some families.
Okay, so basically they found 2 sets of remains. At this point, they identify them. One of them is Jessica. The other one, they tell her mother that it's going to take up to a year to identify, okay? And as that had just come out 3 days ago, I thought that it was that this was happening right now, okay? Well, no, it hasn't. Actually, it's been to trial. Now, I have some documents that we can talk about before we talk about the trial. But I'll go ahead and pull those up and read those with you guys, because when I heard that a set, okay, the remains had been found together. Two sets of skeletal remains were found together. They identified one as Jessica, and then the other one that it was going to take a year to identify. Well, they eventually do identify it, and it is Kara. So he had this dumping place, and he put them both there together. He is eventually charged with their homicides. And then we'll talk about. Okay, good, good, good. Thank y'all for being here, and thank y'all for coming back. We're going to talk about what happened with the trial. So this document is, I've got these on my Patreon. It's from August 17th of 2011. It's for Kylr Yust. Hold on, I'm trying to see what it is. Oh, it's got a lot of redactions, but the suspect is Kylr Yust, and then it talks about victims and all that. The narrative says on August 17th of 2011 at approximately 9:30, I received a telephone call on my cell phone by Redacted regarding remarks made on the computer. Hold on a minute. Never mind. On the computer website Facebook by the victim. It should be noted, when I received the telephone call, I was currently off duty at my residence, and my shift does not begin until 1400 hours. Somebody stated his wife observed several messages written on the computer website Facebook by Redacted, stating that Yust, which is Kylr, the suspect or the boyfriend of probably Kara. Yeah, this is going to be Kara. So, of Kara, had tried to strangle or choke her to death. Harris's father stated that Kara recently broke up with Yust because of this incident. On August 17th of 2011, at approximately 1640 hours, I conducted a follow-up investigation regarding the statements made by Kara on the website Facebook. It should be noted that I've had previous contacts with Yust in the past, and I knew he was living at a residence. Due to having previous encounter with this person and Yust, I was able to conduct a computer check on her computer to possibly locate her parents' address. The computer check revealed an address located in Lee Summit, Missouri. I'm sorry. I conducted a residence check in regard at the residence. I made contact with Kara's mother, and she stated okay, wait a minute. I made contact with mother of somebody, and asked something. I asked her if she knew anything regarding the comments made on the website Facebook by her daughter, Kara. She said, yes, my daughter called me crying in the days after the incident had occurred. I asked Kara exactly what occurred, and she stated that on July 25th of 2011, she received a frantic telephone call from her daughter. The woman stated her daughter sounded very scared and in fear for her life on the telephone. She stated her daughter refused to answer any questions but wanted to be picked up. She stated her daughter wanted help to move her belongings out of the residence, and she stated she immediately let her reside with her husband and drove to her daughter's apartment. She stated when they got to her daughter's apartment, they could hear Yust and the girl arguing from outside the apartment. The mother stated her daughter came out of the apartment crying uncontrollably, and Yust left the residence. She stated her daughter continued to refuse to say what happened, and she packed up her personal belongings. She stated they left the residence. I'm going to try to pull this up on Patreon so I can read it a little bit better. Hold on. So I mean, this is happening before, like right when Kara disappears, right? 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago now, but, is it not up? Are we still good? Yeah, it shows me that it's up. Let me, hold on a minute. I'm going to edit this real quick to say part 1. ADHD. Hold on just a minute. Okay. So I find it interesting that all this happened and they had all this information, then yet they couldn't do anything to save Jessica. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to pull all this stuff up so y'all can see it and then I can see it too. All right, hold on. Okay. Nope, that's not the right one. Nope. Hold on just a minute. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay, I now I've got it. Good Lord. Okay. I'm just going to try to finish reading this one real quick. No, that's this one that I've got pulled up. Okay, hold on. Now you can see it better. That's the one we just read. And that's the one we just read. Okay. It says that the mother stated on July 26th of 2011 she was sitting at home. She was eating dinner with her daughter, and her daughter told her she needed to tell her something. Cara stated she stated her daughter began to cry and stated Kyle tried to kill me. She stated her daughter pulled her to the side and showed her several bruises up and down both of her legs. She stated her daughter continued stating that Kyler held her down and choked her one night until she threw up all over herself. She stated she continued The mother stated she continued stating that Yust started hitting and slapping her. The mother stated Somebody stated she did not understand. I guess, I can't tell if it's Cara or the mother. Cara stated she continued stating Yust had threatened to kill her and she would be dead if she left him. The mother stated her daughter continued stating Yust told her to create fear that he had family with a ranch where there were pigs that would eat anything, including bones. That he had seen arms ripped off of people while they were still alive, and he had seen people dropped in barrels of acid to destroy evidence. He told her no one would ever find her, and that he had unlimited resources. After speaking with the mother, they were able to locate somebody, and they picked up and responded back to the residents. For further information, refer to the recovered 3-page document. This document was scanned. Okay. Victim agreed to speak to me and I conducted an interview. During my interview, Cara made the following statement. She stated she recently posted some messages on the computer website Facebook regarding Yust. She stated she made comments on the computer website Facebook because she was wanting to tell all of her girlfriends that Yust was extremely dangerous and violent. She stated on approximately July 22nd or July 23rd of 2011, at approximately midnight to 4 a.m., Yust come home to the residence at the address extremely intoxicated. And she stated they got into a verbal altercation regarding her wanting to end the relationship with Yust. And Yust grabbed her by both hands, dragging her to their bedroom. She stated Yust pinned her on the bed with his legs while she was laying flat on her back, motionless. She stated Yust used his legs to hold her arms down where she could not move or get up. Cara stated Yust locked Lord, it's hard to read because it's um like I don't know, old, I guess. Hey Abraham, he is sick. Hey Lola's mom, good to see you. YouTube has been glitching a lot lately. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it should show up on the live tab. Sorry about that. Okay. She stated Yust looked into her eyes, grinding his teeth and licking his lips as he placed both hands around her neck. Kara stated she began to scream, but Yust stated, quote, if you scream again, I will kill you faster than you can let out another scream. If you scream again, I will kill you faster than you can let another scream out of your throat. Kara stated Yust continued grabbing her around the neck using both hands and continued strangling her until she would almost lose consciousness. Kara stated that when she almost lost consciousness, Yust would stop strangling her and turn around, intentionally punching her in the legs or thighs to stop her from losing consciousness. Yust continually strangled her until she would almost, sorry, uh, she stated as this continued, she finally lost consciousness. Kara stated when she regained consciousness, she felt Yust laying behind her as she describes spooning me, unquote. Kara stated Yust was laying directly behind her body. Sorry, it's hard to read. Okay, he was laying directly behind her, body to body, whispering, I love you in her ear. Kara stated sometime during this incident, Yust pulled out hair from the back left side of her head. Kara stated she attempted to retrieve the large portion of hair that was pulled out from the back of her head. Kara stated Yust had grabbed the hair from her hands and burned the hair to destroy evidence. Kara stated Yust said, quote, I will kill you and your family. Kara further stated Yust told her he would kill her little sister if she ever went to the police about this incident. My God. During the strangulation, Yust made the following statement to Kara during the incident. Kara stated, Yust said, I've killed people before, even ex-girlfriends, out of sheer jealousy, and I will kill you. Kara stated she has never called the police regarding the incident because she is in fear of being killed. For further information, okay, my investigation revealed Kara's statements. I asked Kara if she still had any bruise markings on her thighs from being punched by Yust. Kara stated yes, but they're very faint and very old. I asked Kara to show me the bruise markings, and I observed one apparent bruise marking on Kara's left thigh, which was consistent with Kara's statement from the above incident. The bruise appeared to be circular shape and very old. I observed two other bruise markings on Kara's left thigh. The two other bruise markings I observed were obviously very old, and I could barely make out a circular bruise mark on both thighs. These other bruises were consistent with Kara's statement from the above incident regarding the being punched in the thighs. I captured two digital photographs of Kara's visible bruise marking on her left thigh. The two other bruise markings were so faint they couldn't be captured on camera, but were barely visible visually. I observed the back left side of Kara's head, which visually observed hair missing from her head, which was consistent with the above incident. It should be noted that on June 29th of 2011, at 1844 hours, Officer Stoner and Officer Sterling were dispatched to a residence regarding a disturbance. Dispatched advised the calling party was blank. The call note states the following: continued CLR's daughter, white female, 18-year-old, 17 and a half weeks pregnant, keeps calling clearly hysterical, saying that boyfriend Kylr Yust, white male, unknown age, scared her and stormed out. Unknown if she is hurt, clearly doesn't know exact apartment number. Female called from somewhere. FYI, boyfriend has history of abuse and was questioned in the disappearance of Kara Kopepsi. Sterling cleared HBO at 1910 hours. Wait a minute. Is this might be from Jessica, the second female. Okay. I'm going to say Jessica because it says that he was questioned in the disappearance of Kara Kopetsky here, and that was the first girl. So I'm going to say Jessica from here on out because I might have assumed and had it confused. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. This is a horrific incident of abuse. So I'm going to drop the abuse hotline. Hold on a minute. If anybody is going through this, please seek help because it's not going to get better. And nobody deserves this shit. This is insane to me. So you can chat online. You can question, is it abuse? Or you can call 1-800-799-7233. You can also text. Hold on a minute. There's a text too. Oh my God. I pulled it up before. Like nothing's working with me today. You can search it on any kind of site and get help with that. Hold on a minute. Text START to 88788. That's what I was looking for. You can call 1-800-799-7233 or text START to 8788. 88788. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say Jessica. Jessica stated in the last month, Yust has sent several text messages wanting to get back together. Jessica stated in the text message from Yust, he told her to either get back with him or he was going to hang himself or kill himself. Jessica stated she is currently pregnant with twins by Yust and has been dating him for approximately 6 months. Jessica stated that approximately 1.5 months ago, she came home from work and observed Yust in the bathroom holding one of their kittens. Trigger warning again. Jessica stated Yust was holding the kitten in his hands and he began to slam the kitten on the floor repeatedly. Jessica stated Yust continued slamming the kitten on the floor and she tried to stop him. Jessica stated Yust slammed the bathroom door and locked her out. Jessica stated she could hear Yust continue beating the kitten on the bathroom floor, intentionally killing the kitten. Jessica stated Yust left the residence with the kitten and disposed of the kitten's dead body. Jessica stated this is not the first time she has observed Yust intentionally try to harm a kitten in front of her. Jessica stated she had 2 other kittens and Yust picked them up and placed them into a brown sack. Jessica stated Yust tied the brown sack with the kitten still alive inside of it. Jessica stated Yust left the residence and walked back to a creek located behind the apartment complex, Apple Creek Apartments. Jessica stated Yust threw the brown sack, which still contained the alive kittens, into the creek. Jessica stated Yust intentionally did this because he said the kittens didn't deserve to live. Jesus Christ. Hey, Rachel. I'm so sorry, Peaches. That's horrible. I could not imagine. My God. Okay. Jessica stated that on the approximate date. Hold on a minute. I'm so sorry, Peaches. Jessica stated on the approximate date of August 10th of 2011 at approximately 100 hours she observed Yust driving by her work, waiting for her to come outside. Jessica further stated she had not seen Yust or been back to his residence in approximately 2.5 weeks because of his violent behaviors. Jessica stated the only reason why she went back to him after the incident had occurred is because she was pregnant with his babies. Jessica stated at the time she just felt sorry for him because of his past history. Actually, I might need to say victim because I don't know if that girl disappeared while she was pregnant or not, but I'm just going to say victim. Victim stated she had no idea Yes was the possible suspect regarding the disappearance of Kara Kopetsky. Victim stated she found out approximately 3 weeks ago that Yes was a possible suspect through the computer website Google. She stated when she Googled Kylr Yust on the internet, she observed several articles regarding Karla Kopetsky's disappearance. I completed the domestic violence lethality form, and the victim, she was asked that, and she said yes to the following questions: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. I asked the victim, was there anything else that worries her about your safety? And she replied, yes, the fact that he knows where I work and I won't go to work now. He has threatened my little sister. I notified Rose Brooks Center in regard. I transported her and an ex parte was granted. I notified Detective Mosier from the domestic violence unit who advised to take an aggravated domestic violence report. I interviewed the victim in my police vehicle and captured victim statements on my in-car digital cabin recording system. The interview lasted approximately 1 hour. I completed a video holder save for the hard drive. I recovered a 3-page statement from somebody which she had typed out on a computer and had already printed off on June or July 26th of 2011. The 3-page statement contained information pertaining to the incident at the apartments regarding her daughter being strangled and choked. Victim stated she typed this information out on a computer just in case her daughter ended up as a missing person. The person signed her signature to the 3-page document. The 3-page document was scanned into in Tel Aviv to be held as evidence, and the original document was recovered. I captured digital photographs of the left leg or thigh, the back left side of the head where she was missing hair from being pulled out, her personal cell phone text messages from Yust, and personal cell phone make, model, serial number for evidence. She uses a cell phone, this kind of cell phone, and Yust uses a different kind of cell phone. She stated her phone service is on Kylr's cell phone account, and the cell phone service plan is with Cricket. She stated her phone got shut off and she can only text. The digital photographs were recovered and saved on the domestic violence unit computer hard drive to be kept for evidence. The information was forwarded to FBI agent Tarpley. So at this point, they had the FBI involved. Okay, Blue Jay, have a good day. Yeah, that's true, Hannah. That's a scary situation. I have this is only one page, but it's a witness statement. Okay, this one reads on September 28th of 2011 at 1700 hours, I conducted a follow-up investigation in regard to Kopetsky. I made contact with somebody and asked him if he knew any information pertaining to the disappearance of Kara Kopetsky. The person stated yes. The person stated that Kylr had confessed to killing Kopetsky on the night when they were in Belton, Missouri, back in the winter of 2007. Kylr stated they were together one night and they were extremely intoxicated. Kylr stated Kara began to cry and state, the person stated Kylr began to cry and state, I killed Kara. The person stated after Kylr confessed to the homicide, he recalled telling Kylr to stop talking about the homicide because he stated after Kylr confessed to the homicide, he recalls, because he didn't want to hear about it. So he told him to stop talking about it because he didn't want to hear about it. The person stated the reason why he told Kylr to stop talking about it at the time was because he was scared to hear about the homicide. The person stated Kylr stopped talking about the homicide and they went back home. The person stated he does not remember any other details about the homicide or a possible location of Kopetsky's body. The person stated he told his girlfriend at the time about Kylr confessing to the homicide. The person stated during the time period of December 2007, his girlfriend stated Kylr had raped her in Pleasant Hill, Missouri. The person stated his girlfriend told him the information in March of 2008. The person stated he confronted Kylr about raping his girlfriend, and Kylr stated the sexual intercourse was consensual. The person stated at the time he didn't know who to believe, so he ended the relationship with the girl and stopped talking to Kylr. The person stated the girl is friends with Kylr. The person stated somebody is friends with what I assume to be Kylr. The person stated somebody and Kylr had planned to commit an armed robbery a few years ago. The person stated Kylr's drug of choice is heroin, LSD, acid, and DMT. My investigation revealed the person's statements. These statements were captured on my in-car audio-video system and will be held as evidence. So there's drug use. That's concerning. I don't think the girl that was pregnant disappeared. I think it was a different girl in between when Cara disappeared and Jessica disappeared. I'm going to look it up, though. This was a protection order filed October 19th of 2011 for Cara Kopetsky against Kylr. I think her mother filed it. Says Saturday, March 28th, kidnapped, restrained 1 month ago, choked me. So maybe she did it. So it's saying that he caused physical injury, stalked, and inflicted emotional abuse. Saturday, April 28th, kidnapped, restrained 1 month ago, choked me. December of 06, had a knife in hand and said, I'm going to slit your motherfucking throat. March 07, wouldn't let me out of my home. Because I am in immediate and present danger of abuse to the child. Okay, wait a minute. An immediate and present danger of abuse to the child exists because I'm unsure what he will do next because the abuse has gotten worse over time. There is no petitioner, no respondent from before, no other cases. Pursuant to section, it's requested the court issue an ex parte order because he was abusing, threatening to abuse, stalking, molesting, or disturbing the peace of the child victim, having any contact with the child victim except as specifically authorized by this order. They want to deny that. It's further requested that the ex parte order of protection exclude respondent from the family home of the child victim because nothing was checked. Petitioner was Rhonda Beckford on behalf of Kara Kopetsky. The respondent was Kylr Charles Yust. The petitioner was the parent or guardian. The respondent is an adult stalking the child. The acts of abuse occurred at his home in Belton, Cass, Missouri. Family home of the child is owned. Okay. Now let me see if I have anything else. That's that one. Looked at that one. Hold on. Oh. This is a motion to dismiss. It does sound like a soap opera. A very sick one. Actually, I'm going to ask Google if the girl that was pregnant ended up disappearing. Okay, wait a minute. Let me go over here. Okay, now we need to come over here. So he ended up having to go to court after Jessica's body was found and they identified Kara. Okay, remember when we started the episode, we talked about 2 remains being found in the woods, 2 sets of skeletal remains, right? Well, one of them was this girl, Jessica, that disappeared after the party, and the other one was Kara Kopetsky. They were found in the same location, just skeletal remains. They identified Jessica's skeletal remains. It took them about a year, and then they identified Kara's. Then Kyle got charged and he went to court. So this reads Kylr Yust, Missouri man who killed 2 ex-girlfriends and blamed his dead half-brother, gets a life sentence. I figured we would check this out. There's some videos to go with it. There he is in court. It says Kylr Yust, a 32-year-old Missouri man convicted of killing his 2 ex-girlfriends who tried to blame the crimes on his dead half-brother, that's interesting, received a life sentence for second-degree homicide and one of the deaths and 15 years for manslaughter for the other on Monday. The 2 victims, Jessica Runyons, 21, and Kara Kopetsky, 17, were killed roughly a decade apart, and a jury found the common link between the 2 was Yust, despite his denials. This is a post on X. A judge is expected to sentence Kylr Yust around 2:30 p.m. today. A jury found him guilty of voluntary manslaughter and second-degree homicide for the deaths of Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons. And there they are. They look very similar too. Quote, when Kara tried to end her relationship with Yust because of abuse, Yust said, if I can't have her, nobody can. Cass County prosecuting attorney Ben Butler told a jury at the start of his trial, according to People magazine. Quote, Yust committed the homicide of Jessica with deliberation, same as he did Kara before, because no one else can have Jessica either. Prosecutors initially pushed for first-degree homicide charges in both deaths, but a jury ultimately convicted on the second-degree homicide in Runyon's case and voluntary manslaughter in Kopetsky's death. Kopetsky's mother, Rhonda Beckford, expressed disappointment in the verdict in April. Jill Beckford says the main thing they wanted is for their daughters to come home, and to that the parents raised their hands. Kylr Yust sentenced to life and 15 years in prison in the deaths of Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons. Quote, to be technical, I don't really feel that justice was served as far as Kara is concerned, unquote, Beckford stated at the time, according to the local outlet KMBC. According to the Kansas City Star, a mushroom hunter found the women's remains in April of 2017 in a wooded area in Cass County, Missouri. Yust will serve the 15-year sentence for Kopetsky's death consecutively with the life sentence, 30 years under Missouri law for the offense. The homicide for Runyons is totaling 45 years, but with the possibility of parole. That's not justice. That's not justice at all. So that video is for the same video, Crime Watch. Well, no, it wasn't Crime Watch Daily. We'll try it and we'll see. Hopefully we can watch it without me getting in trouble. Maybe.
After 10 agonizing years of searching,
That is the same video, so I'm going to stop that. Let me see. I had this one too, but we're going to look up the trial because I want highlights from the trial. Okay. Let's go to YouTube and find the trial. Excuse me. He evidently testified in his trial, so I wanted to see This is where he takes the stand. Jury hears final part of FBI recording. Former friend testifies. Yes. Okay, this is the one we just read. This was a friend of his confessing to hearing. Remember when we read that confession just now, where the friend said that they were highly intoxicated together, and he talked about killing her, and he said he didn't want to hear it anymore. I'll play this real quick.
The trial of Kylr Yust enters its second day of testimony, 14 years after the disappearance of Kara Kopetsky.
It does suck. Hey, Mimi.
Runyons went missing. Yust is charged with her murders, and this morning, Yust's defense attorneys tried to show the jury how Belton police mishandled the investigation. Now, here's an exchange between Yust's main defense attorney and a Belton detective in the case.
It would be very easy to go talk to someone at the gas station, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
None of that was ever done. Did you know that? So you're saying, hey, I wasn't the lead detective on this case, and let's just get this straight. It's hard to figure out who was, isn't it?
At various times, yes, it was.
Okay. Why is it muted?
Well, testimony is scheduled to continue through the day. The trial could last up to 3 weeks. Meanwhile, a friend of Kopetsky and Yust had testified Tuesday about their relationship trouble.
He was saying stuff that he's wanting to hurt her, and I think she was having trouble communicating it to me, and didn't really know what to do. And I suggested to her that she needs to get help.
Well, Yust's defense pointed out that there were differences in Jackson's deposition and what he testified yesterday. The state called 15 witnesses to the stand. Others include Kara Kopetsky's mother, a former Belton police officer, and the woman who reported Kara missing, as well as a couple of Yust friends. And you can count on us for coverage.
I'm going to see if they've got a playlist of the actual trial real quick. Nope. Oh my gosh. Dang it. Let me go back so I can see how long ago it was.
The trial of Kylr Yust enters
4 years ago. Okay, let's go back. Here's where he takes the stand, and I'm going to try to locate the actual trial footage. Can't be seen.
After more than a decade of loss, 2 families wait for justice, with a double murder trial of Kylr Yust now in the hands of the jury.
A nightmare when you don't know where your teenage daughter is and you feel something bad has happened to them.
Kara Kopetsky went missing in 2007. 9 years later, Jessica Runyons disappeared.
It was the longest 7 months of my life.
Those 7 months leading to April 3rd, 2017, when a mushroom hunter found remains in rural Cass County.
I found that interesting that a mushroom hunter found the remains. YouTube kicked you out. What the hell? I don't know what's going on. Everything's being weird today.
Just walking through there, you know, watching the ground, just hoping to spot a mushroom.
Did you?
No.
What did you spot?
I found the skull.
The common link in these young women's lives, Kylr Yust.
I mean, I'm going to get blamed. My whole life is a freaking wreck.
His testimony today taking this long-awaited trial one step closer to a jury's decision. Thanks for joining us on 41 Action News, both on air and on your favorite streaming device.
Reporter Andres Gutierrez live outside the Cass County Courthouse, where jurors are still deliberating, but we're told they could be wrapping up soon for the night, Andres.
Yeah, Kevin, they've been deliberating for the last 4 hours. At one point, they had a question over evidence from Belton police, the judge telling them that they had to rely on their notes and on their memory. Now, the twist today came from hearing from the suspected killer in his own words.
But when you went to the police station and talked to them, did you tell them the whole truth?
I did not.
As the last witness, Kylr Yust himself took the stand to make his case on why he wasn't the one who killed Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons almost 10 years apart.
became extremely depressed. Card didn't show back up, and I think I started drinking more and, using different kinds of drugs.
Instead,
Stop. So he blamed his brother that's deceased and is going to say, "Oh, she disappeared and just didn't show back up." And so I was so depressed and I started using drugs and all the things. I didn't do these things. I didn't do it. Hey, Miss North. No, he's not. He's a killer, but I don't think he's a serial killer.
Yust pinned both murders on his half-brother, Jessup Carter, claiming on the day Kopetsky disappeared, he left her with Carter, went to buy weed, then stopped by his great-aunt at a rehab facility.
Quite a story, though. Just missing a couple pieces that I want to go over.
But the prosecution wasn't having it, saying this was the first time ever making such allegations.
So you want the jury to believe that as you sit here right now, that the man that is dead is the one that's responsible for this, Kylr?
I think that's why he killed himself.
It's really convenient.
Really? He killed himself because he killed your girlfriend. Oh, okay. That makes all the sense in the fucking world.
Isn't it, that he killed himself?
I don't think anything about the situation is convenient.
Well, it's convenient for you because you get to sit up here and say, my brother did it. And your brother's not here to speak for himself, right?
I think he killed himself because I said I wasn't guilty.
The exchange.
Sir, yes, like she said, like Hannah said, you can take 15 damn seats because
ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for your bullshit lies. Choking people out, killing fucking kittens, all kinds of shit. No, sir. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Between the two, heated at times.
Judge, this is cross-exam.
You can't make things up.
I'm not the one making things up, Kylr.
Pull the page.
That's the irony of this.
Can you show me the page where he says that in any of his interviews?
In closing arguments, defense attorney Sharon Turlington focused largely on DNA, toxicology, and phone record analysis.
Trace evidence of shoes, pants, Kylr's house. There's none of that. None of it. All of that evidence tells you that Kylr could not have done either one of these crimes. And I know that Kylr didn't tell the police the right thing when this happened. He lied. He was a 19-year-old kid.
Assistant prosecuting attorney Julie Toll put up a timer on the screen in the courtroom for 1.5 minutes.
And as that 1.5 minutes is ticking off, you think of those young girls fighting for their lives. You think of the defendant's commitment to make sure that no one else was going to have them. You think of his purpose and how he knew what he was doing.
Wow. I'm checking the.
And now the jury is expected to wrap up deliberations for the day here around the 10 o'clock hour. They'll be back here at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Kevin?
Andres, I know we talked about this since the start of this trial, and this was huge for Kylr to take the stand. What does his testimony add to this case, in your opinion?
Well, Kevin, throughout the trial, they have been excluding any evidence linked to Jessup Carter, the half-brother of Kylr Yust, including that suicide note that was found in the jail. So with Yust now going on the stand and testifying, it enters Carter as a possible alternative suspect in this entire case.
All right. Andres Gutierrez live at the Cass County Courthouse. Thanks for the update.
Okay.
Something
I really
just is not right. I mean,
want to find this trial. So I'm over here looking at the Court TV website to see if it's there, but if I can't find it, I'm not going to be able to find it. Hold on. So I was searching. This is where you can go to find trials sometimes. And it just gives me information about it. But I want to see the actual trial. Well, that kind of sucks. Oh, why did my screen just go white? Okay. So I do have one more video. If it's the same, we'll change it. But at the bottom of the article I just read, so we stopped here and it continued. I didn't see this before. I apologize. It continued that prosecutor Julie Toll argued that harsh sentence was needed in light of Yust's lack of remorse and failure to ever accept a new responsibility for anything, the Star reported. Quote, "It is every parent's worst nightmare to imagine their child going missing. The days turned into weeks, the weeks turned into months, and the months turned into years," Tolley said, according to the Star. "There were opportunities for over 14 years for this man to come forward and get justice for these families." Yust defense attorneys told the paper they plan to appeal. Though he reportedly did not make a statement about his sentencing, Yust took the stand in his own defense and testified that he believed his late half-brother, Jessup Carter, who died by suicide in 2018 while in jail on an arson allegation, had been involved in both homicides, according to Kansas City public radio station KCUR. I'm going to go there, but it's not going to give me anything. All right, let's go back and see if this video... It might be the same one that we just watched. If it is, I'll go somewhere. I'll pull up the appeal that I have.
Closing arguments are underway at this moment in the double murder trial against Kylr Yust.
Kylr Yust was the final witness in the case where he seemingly showed remorse for his actions throughout the investigation.
I know that my actions and choices affected other people and myself, and I'm sorry.
Let's go out live to our reporter Sarah Plague, live in Cass County at the courthouse.
Yeah, Sarah, what did you learn from Yust's testimony today?
Yep.
Well, at times it got a bit tense, especially when the prosecution was cross-examining him. At the end of the day, the prosecution told the jury that they've proven that Yust is guilty of first-degree murder based on his actions toward Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons right before they went missing. And right now, his defense is presenting the jury with their closing arguments. They say that there simply is no evidence. Yust did acknowledge while he was on the stand that Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons were both last seen with him. However, he insisted he did not kill them, instead putting the blame on his half-brother, Jessup Carter, saying Carter killed them both. The prosecution grilled him about why he never once, over the course of 14 years, told police that bit of information, but Yust said he didn't want to get in trouble for violating Kopetsky's restraining order she had out against him. Yust also says he's not the one who torched Runyon's car and that he had lit a fire in a burn barrel, and that's why he was burned. And that confession heard on the FBI wiretap, Yust said he was just saying he killed Kopetsky to fulfill his ex-girlfriend's fantasies.
So let's go over here real quick because there's evidently some kind of secret recording. And I think this is it. So I'm going to click on this so we can hear what they could be referencing, the FBI secret recording. Isn't it interesting that he said, of course it's unavailable. Hold on.
Now, day 8 of the double murder.
See, these are only like 2 and 3 minute videos, which is aggravating. But isn't it interesting that he talks about being burned and, oh, I didn't get burned from burning her car. I was burning something in a burn barrel. Yeah, what did we learn? that he's a lying piece of shit. I think it was 2021. Mm-hmm.
You must be the most unlucky guy in the world. You know why?
Why's that?
You've had 2 girlfriends that have gone missing, and the last person they were seen with is you? That's pretty unlucky, isn't it?
I mean, I think that's extremely unlucky, but anyone who has a brother that's a serial killer, I would say is very unlucky.
Whoa!
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting again, and the only thing, quite frankly, that you've gotten lucky with in this case is that Jessup isn't here to answer for that, right?
Wow. What the fuck?
And the prosecution is referring to Jessup Carter there, who ended his own life in the Jackson County Jail 3 years ago. So right now the jury is hearing from the defense. The prosecution said that they have proven that both of the murders were premeditated, and that's why they should find Yust guilty of first-degree murder. We'll have updates on what more the defense is saying. You can follow myself on Twitter or Andy Alcock. He's inside right now. Just follow our Twitter pages. We have detailed tweets.
Wow. How fucked up was that? My God. So if I go, I hate that I'm not able to find the trial. I'm going to continue to look for the trial. But I do have this motion that he filed, motion to dismiss. So they filed a motion to dismiss his homicide charges. Yeah, it's unlucky for anybody who has a brother that's a serial killer. Like, really, dude? That's what you're going with. That's your defense. Okay. Lucky that he's not there to defend himself. Okay. So this is good. This is a long document. I'm going to try to read some of it. I might not read all of it, but it's going to give us more information. So it says the state of Missouri is the plaintiff versus Kylr Yust, the defendant. It is a motion to dismiss due to suspect-driven investigation and failure to investigate exculpatory evidence. So they're saying that there was evidence that proves he didn't commit the crime, and they failed to bring that up or investigate it. Okay. Comes now the defendant, Kylr Yust, by and through his attorneys, and moves this court to dismiss the charges in this case for failure by the state to investigate exculpatory evidence in this case in violation of Brady versus Maryland and the 5th, 6th, 8th, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution and Article 8, 10, 19, and 21, subsection 8 of the Missouri Constitution. This reminds me of Stephan's documents. Mr. Yust is asking this court to dismiss this charges. If the court declines to dismiss the charges, then Mr. Yust is asking that all evidence and witnesses associated with Officer Joshua Neer be excluded, and that the prosecution be barred from arguing that Mr. Yust's alibi from 2007 is false. In support of this motion, the defense states the following. Let me drink my coffee. So this is his story. This is what his defense team presented as to why he didn't commit this crime. I wonder what his 2007 alibi was. What we were at a party, tripping LSD, doing some heroin. I don't know. Let's find out. On May 4th, 2007, Kara Kopetsky left Belton High School and was not seen by her family again. Immediately, her family told law enforcement they suspected Kylr Yust. Ms. Kopetsky had an ex parte order against Mr. Yust for an incident in which he made her get in his car when she got off work and drove around talking about the relationship. He pulled over at Domino's Pizza and she got out of the truck. Ms. Kopetsky was not harmed during this incident. That is a stark contrast from what we heard earlier, where he choked her, pulled out a knife, threatened to kill her, all of the things, right? That's a stark contrast to that. Okay, so that's your story. I mean, and again, they had a restraining order. They got the ex parte order for some reason. But okay, we'll go with your story for now. Ms. Kopetsky's family referred to this as a, quote, kidnapping, unquote, and sought an order of protection. This incident occurred approximately 2 weeks before Ms. Kopetsky's disappearance. Despite this incident, Ms. Kopetsky continued to see Mr. Yust voluntarily. She did. I believe that. They're young. She thinks that he's going to stop. He love bombed the shit out of her probably. And then he probably killed her, in my opinion. I mean, you don't get an ex parte order for no reason, or a protection order. It continues. After Ms. Kopetsky's disappearance, Mr. Yust was questioned by police. Mr. Yust told police he did not have anything to do with Ms. Kopetsky's disappearance and that he had no knowledge what happened to her or where she was. Mr. Yust told law enforcement his whereabouts for the day of May 4th, 2007. Mr. Yust went to his grandparents' home around noon, and then he went to Kansas City, Missouri to visit his great-aunt Mary at the Manor Rehabilitation Facility. Oh, so we're going to grandpa's house, and then because we're just a great person, we're a great, grandson, we're going to go visit grandma in the rehabilitation center in the basically the old folks home. We're going to go to the old folks home because we're just a great grandson, just the utmost product of society. We are that great and that sweet, innocent little boy going to visit his grandma in the old folks' home. Okay. Jessica Chambers. I know that case from somewhere. I'm going to write it down. I know that name. Cindy said, well, come on. He said it, so it must be true. Exactly. Hey, Abella, it's good to see you. Pandora, good to see you. Thank you for being here. So he's running with my brother is a serial homicider, knowing he has self-deleted and is unable to defend himself. What a loser. Exactly. That would be the only reason he would actually go there, in my opinion. Okay. At some point during the day, Mr. Yust and his grandfather went to a gas station and purchased gas for Mr. Yust's truck. Afterwards, Mr. Yust returned to Belton and went to Kyle Reynolds' apartment around 3 p.m. and went to band practice at the home of Nick. After band practice, Mr. Yust returned to his apartment in Belton. Law enforcement officers interviewed numerous witnesses who verified that Mr. Yust returned to Belton around 3 p.m. and was at Kyle Reynolds' apartment and then went to band practice for the group Seraphim. Okay. Let's sidetrack real quick. I got to look this up. Seraphim. Seraphim. So first of all, we're talking about the angel, the weird one that has like all the eyes and the wings and things. That's what they named their band after. 7 years ago. Face Down Records. That's not the band. Those are videos. That's by a person. It's not the band. Seraphim. It's the song, not the band, though. Video for today. Performing Seraphim. Let me see if this is it. I'm trying to see if any of those people look like that guy Kyle. That's all we get. Band practice for the group Seraphim. This is from 14 years ago, so it very well could be this band. They're headbanging, so I can't tell if it's them or not. It's hard to keep up. I have ADHD and I'm unmedicated for that. He's not the singer, but he could be the bassist. That's not him. That's not him. That could be. And that could be. I think that is. Look. Hold on. Damn it. Hold on. Wait. I think that might be him. Ah! Yes. I don't know. Let's do a comparison. That would have been like set like 10 years later and lots of drugs later. But I think that person could be that person. I don't think he's the screamer. I don't think he's the lead person. Stephanie, good to see you. Oh, I don't remember that. So yeah, that could be because this song is from 14 years ago. The band is named Seraphim. And I think that could. I can't see the neck tattoo though, but I don't know if he would have had that neck tattoo back then. Oh, good idea. Good idea, shit. Let's see. I don't know why. Why didn't I think of that? Where is Seraphim. Seraphim. That's a song by somebody named Jordan. Yeah, these aren't the same. Maybe that is? What is the song that we're looking at for today? Let me try it by the song. I don't think those are him. Ryan LaTrue, Mike Reynolds, Dave Morrison, and John Looters. The lyrics for song Seraphim by For Today. So this is not even the same. It's by the band For Today called Seraphim. Okay, so it's not. Evidently, they didn't put any of their things on YouTube that I can find anyway. Hey, Kelly. With his looks, I wonder if this guy has a following like Wade Wilson. Lord, I don't know. God, I hope not. God, I hope not. Okay, back to the document. So he's saying that he went to Kyle Reynolds' apartment. Then he went to practice for the group Seraphim. Police did not, however, wait a minute now. I thought I saw that name, Ryan Reynolds. Reynolds. No. Original members Jordan, Noah, Joel, and John, and Ian formally attack Seraphim. Standalone single titled Abyss. No, they're okay. There's nobody named Ryan Reynolds or Kylr Yust, so it's not okay. My bad. I think that's why he got away with what he did, though, for so long, if I'm being honest. All right, so he says he was practicing with his band, okay? Police did not, however, thoroughly investigate Mr. Yust's whereabouts prior to his return to Belton at 3 p.m. Phone records indicate that Miss Kopetsky called Kyle Reynolds at 10:25 a.m. and spoke with him briefly. This is confirmed by Mr. Reynolds' phone records of Miss Kopetsky. Oh, this is confirmed by Mr. Reynolds. Phone records of Miss Kopetsky also show that at 1:02 p.m. she sent a text message to an unidentified number. How much you want to bet that that unidentified number right there was Kylr's? Location data from her phone shows that this text pinged on a tower located near the intersection of 155 and Highway 71. Due to this information, police conducted extensive searches of this area. At 1 p.m., Mr. Yust would have been either at his grandparents' home or already in Kansas City. Location data from his phone would have shown that Mr. Yust was nowhere in the vicinity of Miss Kopetsky. However, law enforcement failed to ever obtain location data from Mrs. Yust's phone just for the date of May 4th, 2007. There is location data for Mr. Yust's phone for other dates in May 2007. No explanation has been provided for how or why the only data that is missing for the only time frame is that which is of importance to Mr. Yust's defense. Well, that would make me think he turned his damn phone off, and that would, tell us that it was a premeditated homicide. Y'all are funny. It should be noted that location data was obtained from numerous other witnesses, including Kyle Reynolds, Edwin Hall, a suspect in another young woman's disappearance in the area around this time, member of Miss Kopetsky's family. There are also no reports which indicate any attempt by law enforcement to retrieve or reconstruct Mr. Yurt's location data if there had been an error or problem on the part of T-Mobile. In fact, almost 300 disks of discovery and approximately 20,000 pages of documents. The only mention of the fact that Mr. Yurt's location data from May 4th, 2007 is missing is in 2017 when the FBI phone analyst John Hogger does a cast report for the prosecution. In his deposition, Agent Hogger stated that at this point he could only speculate as to why location data for Mr. Yust is missing only for the date of May 4th, 2007. Agent Harger also stated that at this point there is no way that this data or the reason that it might be missing can ever be known. Agent Harger did state that it is possible that there is a page missing. Yeah, probably when the defense asked him, could a page be missing, he probably stated, I mean, it's possible, but not likely. What's more likely is that Kylr turned his fucking phone off for that day. Even without the location data, there were several independent avenues of confirmation for Mr. Yust's whereabouts on May 4th, 2007, between 10:25 a.m. and 3 p.m. Law enforcement did talk to Al Yust on 2 occasions. Al confirmed that Kylr went to Kansas City with his grandparents and that they bought gas. However, law enforcement did not speak with another Yust who was also present on this trip. They did not speak with Mary Jean Zanon, who was the relative they visited. They did not go to the manor and check for records, security cameras, guest sign-in registers, or talk to staff. Nor did they go to the gas station and check for security camera footage, receipts, or talk to staff. I mean, the police probably should have done that at the time, but if we're talking about years later, that evidence is not going to be there. It's all the way from 2011. 2007 is when he allegedly went to practice with the band. May 4th, 2007, the day that Kara disappeared. I love that. I've been to prison but turned my life around, and now I save animals and give to the needy type of look. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, if I'd have seen him back in the day, I'd have been like, oh my God, he's so cute. I got to talk to him. Yeah. Y'all are funny. Hey, Scratch, good to see you. Let's see. Okay. York County shooting reports multiple police officers shot in North Condors Township in Spring Grove. Authorities are responding to an active police incident in North Condors Township, York City, Pennsylvania, involving an officer-involved shooting. Multiple police and EMS units are on the scene with several officers injured. At least 2 officers are being transported via medevac units, which were requested due to the severity of the injuries. The York County Office Emergency Management confirmed the ongoing situation but has not yet released further details. The incident remains active and updates are expected as more information comes available. This is breaking news. Damn, I wonder what happened. We got 2 officers that are in critical condition right now in Pennsylvania. That's scary. Lord, I hope that they make it out and they're okay. God bless them. Oh no, Kelly. I'm sorry. Call him and make sure he's okay. I mean, I'm sure he is. I think it's just the officers that are down right now. But still scary. Okay, it says all this information was available to be investigated at the time, and all the witnesses and locations were within 1/2 hour or less drive from Belton. At this time, defense counsel is not able to recreate any of this evidence because Doris Yust passed away in 2009. No records can be retrieved from Cardenet Manor because the facility has sold numerous times since 2007, and they have retained no records prior to 2013. Mary Jean Zanone is now in her mid-80s and does not have accurate memory of these events. The first time anyone contacted her regarding this incident was when defense investigators did so more than a decade after they occurred, despite the fact that Miss Zanone has lived approximately 20 minutes from Belton this entire time. Defense counsel also cannot verify any information from the gas station because they do not keep employment records or surveillance video for an extended amount of time. And do we not think that that's why the police maybe couldn't get the information? Not only did law enforcement fail to investigate exculpatory evidence regarding Mr. Yust, they failed to adequately follow up on leads which implicated other suspects. Another suspect, Billy Bays, made multiple statements regarding his involvement and knowledge of Miss Kopetsky's death. While law enforcement illegally tracked Mr. Yust's vehicle and asked witnesses to wear wire and published articles in the media containing damning information regarding Mr. Yust, this information was documented at best or ignored. Detectives on the case stated in depositions that they quickly disregarded the theories that Mr. Bays or any of his associates were involved. Yeah, they probably had not a damn thing to do with Kara. That's probably somebody that saw it on the news and falsely confessed. Yust was dating her. She had to get a restraining order. He threatened to kill her. That's your suspect. It says they also disregarded any statements allegedly made by Mr. Bates and his associates as bragging and attention seeking. No one who came forward with information regarding Mr. Bay's involvement was ever asked to wear a wire or act as a confidential informant. Even a report from the wife of a detective who overheard a conversation in a restaurant about Miss Kopetsky's body, which led her to get the license plate of the car of the people who were having the conversation and then ask her husband to run the plate, was not taken seriously enough to investigate. This witness told law enforcement that the plates on the car of the person talking about Miss Kopetsky's body belonged to Crystal Bays, the sister of Billy Bays. However, Crystal Bays has never been interviewed. Additionally, law enforcement engaged in selective documenting in the investigation, witnesses, and events. The most egregious examples of this are that Billy Bays was questioned by Sergeant Swanson of the Belton Police Department. Sergeant Swanson did not write any reports of this interrogation. Well, I mean, that is a problem, to be fair. I mean, you can't be interviewing people and not have a recording of it. Oh, well, there you go. This interrogation was recorded by Sergeant Swan, and it did not have his transcript. He didn't have it transcribed or put into evidence. Well, that's a problem. The tape was discovered in a desk drawer in January of 2020 after Sergeant Swanson had retired. Additionally, in this desk drawer was an interview with someone who came forward in 2013 saying that an individual named Joshua Castle was in Belton on May 4th, 2007, and afterwards had to remove his back seat because it was soaked in blood. Joshua Castle was allegedly involved in drugs and prostitution. Although the car in question was searched in 2013, no attempt to interview Joshua Castle, determine his location on May 4, 2007, or any follow-up was ever conducted. That's probably because they didn't find blood in the car. I mean, if they searched the very car that they said the back seat had to be removed because it was covered in blood and there's no blood and the back seat's still there, it's obviously a lie. At least your president is safe. He's at Windsor Castle with our king. Ain't no threat to him there. Where are the corgis? Okay. Joshua Castle is currently in federal custody and appears to be an informant. He is not cooperating with any attempt by the defense to question him at this time. Another instance of failure to document involves allegations that someone named Ice Princess contacted Chris Davis, a friend of Kara Kopetsky's, after her disappearance. Mr. Davis believed that these messages had to either be from Kara Kopetsky or Kylr Yust trying to slyly cover his tracks. Although an IP address for Ice Princess was found, there are no reports of any investigation to clearly identify who was sending these messages. In his deposition, Mr. Davis stated that he believed it had to be Kylr Yust, since it now seems clear that Ms. Kopetsky was deceased. Defense counsel, using the IP address and information contained in the police reports, were able to locate a witness who lives in another state who in fact uses the online ID Ice Princess. This witness described being pulled over by law enforcement back in 2007 and asked if she was harboring a teen runaway named Kara. The witness stated she had no idea at the time why this was happening and she had no knowledge of someone named Kara. The witness then confronted her sister, who was a true crime addict that followed cases and frequently tried to get involved in the investigations. It became clear that the sister had been using the witness's computer. Defense counsel then provided all the Ice Princess messaging and sampling of Mr. Yust's text for analysis by forensic linguist Dr. Leonard. Dr. Leonard looked at the materials and confirmed that the Ice Princess messages were not consistent with Kylr Yust's linguistic pattern. In all other significant instances, online claims that Kara was alive, law enforcement tracked down the source, had an agent or officer go to the source and interview the individuals associated with the computer and document their work disproving the information. This is true even for an instance when the FBI sent an agent to an address in New Hampshire. However, in this instance, there are no reports whatsoever regarding the pulling over and questioning of the witness regarding Ice Princess. If any additional information was done regarding this by law enforcement, it is not documented and we will never know. Law enforcement sometimes can be a little lazy, and it's frustrating for both prosecution and defense when trying to get evidence. I agree with that, Kalisa, and it's good to see you. It is kind of odd that they didn't write this down or like record it or anything. I'll give them that. Additional information that would have been available to law enforcement that was never investigated was Kylr Yust TDOA location data from 2016. Despite sending a subpoena asking for proprietary location data such as Nelos and the KCPD, phone experts never received or followed up on TDOA data for Mr. Yust's phone. TDOA records can give locations for a phone even when the phone is not placing text, phone calls, or using data. This would have been known by the phone experts in 2016, and they did obtain Nilo's location data for Jessica Runyon's, which is ATT's pro- proprietary location program, because the last Nilo's hit for Miss Runyon's is in Belton, while Mr. Yust's phone is actively texting and hitting on the cell tower at his home location at the address. Additional location data would have shown Mr. Yurt's location during these times. He was not placing phone calls, texts, or using data. This information should have been vital to the investigation. There is no reason that it was not obtained. So they're saying that Jessica was in a different location when she went missing. But again, I mean, you're adding Jessica into this now. I was wondering if he was going to say, okay, well, you have no evidence connecting me to Kara, but I did commit the homicide of Jessica. But now he's trying to say, or the defense is trying to say, that they had nothing to do with Jessica either. It just so happens that both of them are your ex-girlfriend. Like, that's weird to me. Miss North, good to see you. He supposedly took a former girlfriend, Caitlin Ferris, to the place that he committed the homicide of Kara. They were going to use a Ouija board, and then he tried to get back together with Caitlin. Interesting. I had not heard that. Law enforcement completely failed to investigate Jessup Carter. This is the brother. It appears that Mr. Carter had a phone that he used independently from his wife, Crystal Taylor, in 2016. However, this remains unclear and no records were ever obtained. Mr. Carter's truck was seen in Kingsville, Missouri on September 9th of 2016, and a video shows someone putting a gas can into his vehicle. Mr. Carter, Miss Taylor, and Miss Robinson have stated that Mr. Carter was at a job during the day on September 9th of 2016. Significantly, phone records from September 2016 show that Mr. Yust was either at home or work during the day of September 9th, 2016. Shortly after Mr. Yust was arraigned and pled not guilty, Mr. Carter committed an arson at the uncle's home. This location was one that Mr. Carter, Mr. Yust, and Miss Taylor had visited on the evening of September 9, 2016. Police later searched burn barrels at this location because Mr. Yust burned something while there, which is confirmed by witnesses. However, police found no evidence related to Miss Runyon's disappearance. After setting the fire, the brother attempted to stop the fire department from putting it out. Law enforcement interviewed Mr. Carter's uncle. However, they did not conduct a full investigation, despite the fact that Jessup was a witness in a major homicide investigation who had just burned down a crime scene. It is interesting that the brother set fire to the uncle's house, but maybe he did it because Kylr told him to. And maybe in that burn barrel, Kylr was burning Jessica's things, because it doesn't make sense that the brother would do this to his brothers, because what? His brothers, like, I don't understand. Like, the brother's going behind his brother and what, hooking up with his girlfriends and then killing him, his ex-girlfriends? I mean, is that what we're trying to say? Oh, okay. So I could look up that name and see if we can find it. Let me see if I can find it. We'll come back to this. Maybe. Hold on. Here the recording prosecutors claim that Kylr Yust saying he killed Kara. So we're going to listen to this real quick. And that'll give my throat a break for a second. That didn't sound good. Girl, what you doing over there? Goodness. Okay, thank you for the advertisement. Can we skip it now?
Yeah, we're not going to stick right here.
Oh my god. Just like felt her hand on my shoulder, and I heard she didn't say anything. It was just like her voice. Like she just just like or something. Like she just said just made a noise. And it was her voice. Really sad. Because I fucking killed her and left her out in the wilderness alone.
What?
For her spirit just roam the forest. Yeah.
No. Oh, she bolted out of the car and totally stole a flamingo out of this dude's yard.
It says Kylr.
We fought for 4 quarters, which I could be.
Kylr Yust allegedly told his ex-girlfriend, Caitlin Ferris, that he killed Cara. Prosecutors said that the trial is ongoing. On Thursday, April, Ferris, at the request of the FBI, recorded herself and Yust while using a Ouija board. So I guess he admitted to it while they were using a Ouija board, like Miss North said. Interesting. Technically, though, they could say that he did that because he was trying to hook up with that girl. I don't know. It's freaking weird, though. Okay. So, witnesses who were supposedly present were never interviewed. Reports indicate that a woman drove off in Mr. Carter's vehicle. This woman was never interviewed, and her name in the reports appears to be incorrect. Defense counsel contacted the person named in the report, which included a birthday and social security number. However, the person that has that name, birthday, and social security number does not know Jessup Carter at all and produced records indicating she was in the hospital in Mississippi at the time of the fire. Obviously, this is a complete failure to investigate what happened in the events surrounding this fire. Several weeks later, Mr. Carter was found dead at his cell in his cell at the Jackson County Jail. He had hung himself using a sheet. In his cell, he left a notepad which contained symbols and numbers and a coded message. This notebook is accompanied by a Bible which has certain pages bookmarked. Inmates frequently use codes to communicate, so law enforcement does not know what they are discussing. Defense counsel attempted to see if these evidentiary items had been retained. However, the jail did not retain any of this material, nor did the police send these materials or photographs of these materials to be analyzed, unless this was done without any documentation, which is certainly possible in this case. There are a few blurry photographs of the items left, and that's all. In summation, the defense has identified at minimum the following areas where law enforcement has failed to investigate relevant evidence or lost evidence that is potentially helpful to Mr. Yust. Failure to investigate his 2007 alibi by not interviewing Doris Yust. Hold on a minute. Oh, yeah, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, please. Miss North said, yeah, he's trying to, said her mom hated him. He said he didn't care. Huh. Okay. Failure to investigate his 2007 alibi by not interviewing Doris Yust and staff at the manor or staff at the gas station. Failure to locate records from the manor, including possible security tapes, sign and register, and medical records. Failure to locate surveillance tapes from the gas station Kylr and Al went to on May 4th, 2007. Failure to obtain or locate or even actively destroying location data for Kylr Yust's phone on May 4th, 2007. They didn't interview Joshua Castle. They didn't document or interview an investigation. They didn't document the interview and investigation of Billy Bays. They did not interview Crystal Bays. They did not obtain text messages between Caitlin and Kylr. They lost a taped statement of Candace Matthews, which appears to be substantially different from her other statements. Failure to obtain TDOA phone location for Kylr in 2016. Failure to investigate fully what phone number was used by Jessup Carter in 2016, and failure to properly package Mr. Yust's clothing to see if accelerants were present, which is pertinent in the determination of whether he participated in burning Jessica Runyon's vehicle. Failure to interview witnesses present at when Jessup Carter burned down his uncle's address. Failure to investigate Jessup Carter's suicide, including preserving and analyzing his encoded suicide note. Failure to document investigation of Ice Princess messaging, which excluded Mr. Yust as the author of the post, leaving the impression that Mr. Yust was engaging in activities to cover his tracks. Let me ask. I'm going to do a poll real quick. I want to know if you guys think that they're presenting a good defense, a good retaliation, or basically, we're on page 10. Do you think this is a good reason to dismiss his homicide charges in these cases? So I'm going to ask that, and we're going to do a poll. Okay. I think I spelled it right. Okay, it says the United States Supreme Court, Brady versus Maryland, affirmed that the Constitution requires the prosecution and the police to investigate and disclose material which is exculpatory to the defense. In conjunction with Brady, the ABA Guidelines for Ethical Conduct and Prosecution places upon the state the duty to pursue all relevant evidence. Case law dictates that whether the state violated its duty depends on whether it failed to pursue that evidence in order to secure a tactical advantage. In this case, with the state failing to investigate basic facts, such as Mr. Yust's alibi, his phone location data at critical times in both Kopetsky and Runyon's, when they obviously did this for other witnesses, failing to document exculpatory evidence such as excluding Mr. Yust from creating the Ice Princess messages and failing to write reports regarding Billy Bay's document this questioning in the case files, failing to question Joshua Castle, investigate Jessup Carter's phone records or whereabouts, and resorting to illegal investigative practices such as tracking Mr. Yust without a warrant, which resulted in no inculpatory evidence. They certainly were seeking to secure a tactical advantage. However, a recent change to the ABA standards indicate that even such a tactical motive is no longer necessary. The state's failure to investigate evidence in Mr. Yust's case warrant dismissal or exclusion of evidence. They cite a bunch of code. Kenneth points out that there are a few reported decisions in which the aforementioned duty to pursue relevant evidence is cited. Moreover, so these are just citing code and things. However, there are only grounds for a reversal of conviction, or in this case, dismissal, if the harm from the state's non-pursuit is great enough to question whether the defendant was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. In this instant, case law dictates that determining the state has breached its duty to pursue relevant information requires showing either that the state made a tactical choice not to pursue the relevant evidence, or that it had explicitly assumed a duty to acquire the evidence that it failed to acquire. Okay. Oh, that's a different case. This argument, I think this is just citing case law and irrelevant things. Okay. Unlike the other case, the harm to Mr. Yust is not pursuing multiple sources of evidence that shows the unpursued evidence. If it would have been favorable to Mr. Yust, would have overwhelmed the evidence against him. Here, the unpursued evidence includes several more items of evidence, many of which could have actually exonerated Mr. Yust if pursued. In addition to failure to investigate, this case has been tainted by becoming suspect-driven and conducted by an officer acting outside of his jurisdiction. Officer Murier took it upon himself to interview witnesses using improper techniques, suggesting Mr. Yust's guilt, telling them false information regarding Mr. Yust, and maintaining inappropriate contact with the witnesses. It became apparent that the officer was working closely with members of Ms. Kopetsky's family and a group of supporters. This group was called the Kopetsky Sleuths. One of the members of this group, a media personality, published articles using unredacted police reports preliminarily generated by Officer Meir. He was not assigned by the KCPT or Belton Police Department to conduct this investigation. He interviewed several people specifically about information pertaining to Yust. He expressed to the interviewees that he knew Yust was guilty of killing Kopetsky and he would prove it, and that Yust was secretly a brilliant serial killer. He also drove slowly past Yust's residence on multiple occasions. He even changed his computer login to Kylr Yust or Find Kara. Well, that's concerning. Like, you can't get that deep involved in a case as a police officer, I think. Yeah, I don't like it either, One Sunny Day. They do need to do things correctly, though. It does sound like that, doesn't it? If this is true and they never kept the suicide letter, that is bad. But yeah, I'm seeing that. Is that why it took so long to get this to go to trial? Like, I have no sympathy for this piece of shit, but like at the same time, we can't be doing bullshit, shoddy police work as the police department. And it does leave the door open for him to get what he got, manslaughter for Kara. He should have got convicted of first-degree homicide. I don't believe for a second that he had that he didn't do this, but we got to make sure we get him correctly too. It says one particularly clear-cut example is that several days after Kopetsky went missing, Yust was asked to come to the police station to answer some questions. Yust borrowed clothes from his friend Ben Bennett to go down to the police station so as to dress presentably for the interview. Mira reported this instance as though Yust was actually ridding himself of the evidence of his clothes from the night of the alleged murder, even though it was actually several days later. Officer Meier's extra-jurisdictional investigation bore the most significant empirically tested indicators of a failed criminal investigation because of strong indicators of confirmation bias, complete lack of supervision, and high-profile media attention. Evidence tainted by Officer Meier's investigation needs to be excluded. The exclusionary rule is a judicially created rule, quote, adopted to officiate the Fourth Amendment right of all citizens to be secure in their persons, hours, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. It's dedicated to deter police misconduct. The rule prohibits the introduction of illegally obtained evidence in a criminal trial where, yeah, we know that. According to the 10th Circuit, an arrest made outside of the arresting officer's jurisdiction violates the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. This is all referencing case law. Because of the strong indicators that Officer Meier's investigation was not only objectively legal in that he was performing police work outside of his jurisdiction, but also so corrupted with bias and investigative failures that any evidence gathered from that investigation is inherently unreliable. The evidence he gathered while outside of his jurisdiction should be suppressed. Officer Mears' investigation was riddled with confirmation bias and tunnel vision, and that he tailored his investigation towards gathering evidence against Mr. Yust as opposed to seeking the truth generally, and he chose not to pursue any evidence against other suspects. Research regarding criminal investigative failures, particularly those failures that led to wrongful conviction, has been burgeoning in recent years, and they're going to cite a bunch of case law. Yeah, that talks about a study. It is, to say the very least, troubling to consider Officer Mears' activities in the light of empirically suggested danger that stems from confirmation bias. The evidence does not indicate that Mears' goal is going beyond his jurisdictional limits was to gather evidence. Okay. The evidence does not indicate that Mears' goal in going beyond his jurisdictional limits was to gather whatever evidence he could to seek the truth. Rather, it indicates he went beyond his jurisdictional limits to gather any evidence he could against Yust. It is no secret that Kopetsky's parents believed Yust killed their daughter, nor is it a secret that Kopetsky's aunt was a detective for the Kansas City Police Department. Nor is it a secret that Kopetsky's family expressly solicited the help of Meir to investigate Yust. The interviews Meir conducted in his investigation were entirely centered on discovering more information specifically about Yust. What's more, he expressed in his interview sentiments that he knew Yust was guilty and would prove it, that Yust was actually a brilliant serial homicider. Meir scoped out Yust's residence several times. He portrayed Yust borrowing clothes from a friend in order to dress presentably in a discussion with the police days after Kopetsky went missing as an attempt to ditch the clothes he was wearing the night of the alleged crime. He even changed his computer login to Kylr Yust. That is concerning. I'm not going to lie. The fact that he was working with media like that, it is concerning that you're so focused on this one individual that's your damn computer login password. That's not good. But this girl had been missing for 10 years, and it was very evident that he committed this crime. It says no other suspect in this case received a fraction of the attention or computer login homage that Yust had received from Meyer, notwithstanding the evidence against Billy Bays and Keith York. In light of Meir's zealous pursuit of evidence against Yust and his seemingly deliberate non-pursuit of any other evidence, it is difficult to conclude that Meir's investigation was not fueled in significant part by a foregone conclusion that Yust was guilty until proven innocent. It is therefore reasonable to strongly suspect that Meir's judgment of witness reliability and his evidence assessments were to overcome by confirmation bias to be reliable. The study found, okay, we don't need that. This in turn, okay, the study found the most frequent organizational problem was lack of proper supervision and management. This, in turn, enabled both confirmation bias and incomplete investigation. Police management even, quote, ignored and perhaps unofficially encouraged misfeasance and noble cause corruption in certain cases by operating completely outside of his jurisdiction and by circumventing the authority of the Belton Police Department. Officer Meir's investigation was entirely without police supervision or accountability. Detective from the Kansas City Police Department Homicide Unit testified at deposition that Officer Meir was specifically told to stop all investigation on the case. Additionally, he met with Belton Police Department and was told by them not to continue with his rogue investigation. Officer Meir's investigation, in line with study's most frequent organizational problem, was entirely lacking in proper supervision. The investigation was, again, performed mostly off-duty and outside of his jurisdiction. The police chief in Belton even admitted that he worried about Meyer's independent investigation compromising the integrity of the Belton Police Department investigation. Meyer acted in a manner that both circumvented the authority of the Belton Police Department and that rendered him unaccountable to his own police department. It is no wonder that his investigative methods reeked of confirmation bias. After all, according to the study, his lack of supervision enabled that behavior. A high-profile crime followed by excessive media attention was the most common situational factor found in the study. Yet again, Officer Meyer's investigation finds itself falling in line with the group's predominant casual factor. A simple Google News search for the alleged murders yields over 100 articles from local news sources, as well as from national sites like Associated Press, ABC, The Daily Beast, CNN, Washington Post, etc., etc. The casual factors present in Officer Meyer's investigation were also shown to be the study's most significant casual factors in their respective groups, culminating in evidence that was not only obtained illegally but was likely unreliable. Upon recognizing the interconnectedness of these causal factors, one can begin to construct the process that was likely behind Officer Meyer's illegal conduct. Well, do tell. It is bad that one of the victim's aunts was a detective and involved as well. Well, I mean, but he seems like he did it. I mean, we heard them talking about what he did to his ex-girlfriends and things. Hey, the artsy alien. I don't think this was the original detective, but I'm not sure. This case involves the alleged homicide of two young women, one of them still a teenager. The entire Benton community, led by Kopetsky's grief-stricken parents, rallied to express righteous cries for justice. The tragic deaths and outcries from the community spawned overwhelming local and national media attention. In addition, Kopetsky's parents elicited the help of Officer Meyer through their connections with the Kansas City Police Department to gather evidence against their late daughter's boyfriend, the lead singer of a death metal band who had a turbulent relationship with Kopetsky. Furthermore, shocking crimes, attacks on children, or multiple homicides generate higher pressures and risk-driven police from an evidence-based to suspect-based investigation before they are ready. We're citing law. The high-profile nature of the case, the request from Kopetsky's family, and the utter lack of supervision of Officer Meyer resulted in tunnel vision and confirmation bias, ultimately producing an evidence failure, as illustrated in Part A. The reasoning in general does not question the moral character or his skill as an officer. Rather, they are the product of unintentional strategies, not deliberate decisions. Indeed, even the best officers are susceptible to confirmation bias and its consequences. But we must reiterate that there is not just a vague suspicion that Officer Meyer conducted his investigation in an unreliable manner. Rather, Officer Meyer's investigation was fueled by each casual group's most dominant factor in criminal investigation failures. It is documented in police reports and confirmed in deposition testimony that there were discussions of conveying a grand jury to investigate Officer Meyer and other individuals who were involved in this alternate investigation. To allow the evidence gathered against Mr. Yust, evidence gathered by pursuing Yust specifically outside of his jurisdiction and outside of his official duties, especially after he failed to pursue any potentially incriminating evidence against other suspects, even a suspect who had confessed to murdering Kopetsky, would be to incentivize these kinds of bias-infused extra-jurisdictional investigations in the future. This sort of activity is precisely what the exclusionary rule was designed to deter. Finally, the prosecution in this case should be barred from arguing that Mr. Yust's alibi in 2007 is inaccurate or that Al Yust was being untruthful to protect Kylr. As outlined above, the state had full access to multiple avenues of investigation that would have corroborated Al and Yust's testimony. Equally troubling is that a recent disclosure of emails shows that while Mr. Yust was incarcerated in federal prison, Officer Meir was making contact with Mr. Yust's father, Ken Yust, and his girlfriend, Karen, trying to convince them that Al was lying to police to provide Kylr with an alibi. So instead of actually investigating neutral facts, at the time were readily available and would prove Mr. Yust's whereabouts on May 4, 2007, Meyer was deliberately trying to tamper with witnesses to undercut Mr. Yust's defense. If they wished to prove that Kylr did not have an alibi, they could have checked with other witnesses, the medical facility, or made even a rudimentary attempt at obtaining the location data from his phone. They did none of these things. And to reiterate, they had over a decade to do so, and all this information was available from witnesses and facilities located within 1/2 hour's drive from Belton, Missouri, and allowing them to benefit by their own complete intentional failure to investigate is unconsolable. Doing so would violate Mr. Yust's right to due process of law, the right to effective assistance of counsel, and the right to present a defense as guaranteed by the United States Constitution. Despite what the state may argue, the fact that Mr. Yust made statements in this case is in no way dispositive of guilt, nor does it excuse wrongdoing, misconduct, or negligence by law enforcement. The Innocence Project has documented that 29% of people are exonerated by DNA evidence and that they made inculpatory statements. Additionally, the statements made in this case are vague, unsupported by physical evidence, and obtained by promises of sex via use of a Ouija board. There is no physical evidence of any kind supporting that Mr. Yust is guilty, and they request that the case be dismissed. That's interesting, but we have to remember that's their side. I think he's guilty. Yeah, that case pursuing it the way that he did made it way worse. I'm going to try to look up the trial through using the victim's name real quick. Like, I wish I had KMBC Channel 9. Let's go over here. Hold on, let me pull it up. I'm going to try to scroll through and see if we can watch the trial because I really want to see the trial. So it appears that it meant to say if the reasons listed are true. Are the reasons listed, if true, a reason to dismiss homicide charges? 23% said yes, 77% said no. Thank you for participating in the poll. Let me see what KMBC 9. It's going to be from 4 years ago. Try it that way. These are only like 1 minute clips. Which, I mean, I want to see the actual trial. Like, why do we not have the actual trial? Hold on. Hold on just a minute. I want to see if there's like longer videos because there should be. They had video cameras in the courtroom. So how do they not have like longer trial videos? Let's see what this medical examiner said real quick.
Of the trial of Kylr Yust. He's accused of killing two women nearly a decade apart in Cass County. Prosecutors called 10 witnesses today, mostly law enforcement and scientific experts involved in this investigation. Dr. Diane Peterson was the last witness of the day. She's the former chief medical examiner of Jackson County and was involved in the recovery and examinations of the skeletal remains found in that Cass County field in 2017. She testified that her team found remains of Jessica Runyon's on the same site the day after a mushroom hunter found remains of Kara Kopetsky.
The next day, a different one of my investigators went out to do more recovery. And while he was on scene, he found another skull. And that was when he contacted me, and I went down to the scene that afternoon, and we proceeded from there.
Dr. Peterson also detailed the condition and location of the remains found in the Cass County field and how her team recovered them. She also said, based on her examinations of the remains, she could not rule out strangulation as a cause of death for either girl.
Yeah, and I could get that. I could see that because they were skeletal remains. We got this to trial. And I'll try that if I can't find any longer videos. I just don't understand because there was obviously cameras in the courtroom. So I don't understand why we don't have longer videos of the trial. Like all I have is these recaps, and that's not necessarily what I want to see. Yeah, I just don't see anything. I'm going to work on trying to find this, though. You're submitted to taking the Batman tattoo machine and other property from the business, but stated that the property belonged to him. It seems like a really interesting case. Oh, he worked at a tattoo shop. Or no, he was indicted in a tattoo shop theft. Okay, I'm going to go up. They got this documentary. I'm going to try to play it. Hopefully we won't get shut down. Hold on. Hold on. I got to find it again. There it is.
Something just is not right. I mean, she would not run off.
It's been 5 weeks since we've seen her face. It's been 5 weeks since we've seen her smile.
The families of two young women connected by tragedy, by a murder case that's made national headlines.
No one has seen or heard from Jessica Runyon in days.
As a community is torn apart, the man charged with the girls' deaths is about to go on trial.
What happened to your face? Did you get burned?
What happened to your face?
Did you kill Jessica?
Did you?
As concerns are raised about the credibility of the case.
Just because we don't respond to something doesn't mean we didn't do it.
I'm waiting until we get resolution and justice for both of our girls.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Caitlin Canute. It took a decade for a Kansas City area family to get answers about what happened to their daughter, Kara Kopetsky, after she walked out of her high school, never to be seen again. During that time, another young woman disappeared. Jessica Runyons vanished after leaving a house party. Prosecutors allege the same man is responsible. But uncovering the truth won't be easy.
I don't know why. I said, "Hey, Carolina." I don't know why I was just muted, but I put the link to this video in the description. I mean, in the chat, and I will put it in the description just in case it makes me remove it.
Kara Kopetsky all smiles in this home video. A typical teenager who enjoyed music, her friends, and looked forward to her senior year of high school. Jessica Runyon's idolized by her sisters, an aspiring writer with a beautiful smile and laugh. But the two girls and their families would soon be linked by unimaginable acts of violence. The morning of May 4th, 2007, a school security camera captured Kara Kopetsky leaving Belton High School. It would be the last time the 17-year-old would be seen alive. Kara worked at this Popeyes but didn't show up. Calls and texts to her cell phone went unanswered. Fearing for Kara's safety, that same day a friend of hers went to Belton police. And after police talked with Kara's family that night, she was reported as missing. 1 week after she vanished, 41 Action News was invited inside the family's home.
Her dresser is full.
In Kara's bedroom, none of her clothes were missing. Her iPod and phone charger left on a table.
Something just is not right. I mean, she would not run off.
Do y'all remember when we had iPods and things like that? It is very sad, Miss North. I agree. Y'all remember the iPods and all the things? And man, I remember 2007, but Lord, it was a long time ago.
I know she's my daughter, and I know in my heart she would not do that.
Her cell phone and debit card unused.
She's not used or accessed her phone since the day of May 4th, and that's unusual for anybody with a cell phone, let alone a teenage girl.
But despite
that's Sergeant Swanson, not the one that is alleged to have done misconduct.
Flyers posted around the community and the publicity surrounding the case, days turned into months.
I was
If
too.
you have any information on this case, please call the Belton Police Department.
And there was no sign of Kara.
I just get up every morning and I ask God to help me make it through another day, and I ask God, hopefully today will be the day that call comes in that leads to where Kara is.
Tips were coming in, but still no word.
There's just a lot of pain and hurt in our family.
You know, it's a struggle every day.
Don't they look like the classic Missouri family from back then? I was pregnant with my daughter at that time too, Julie. Corey, good to see you. And Blue Jay, welcome back.
It's a struggle every day.
Happy birthday to you.
Kara's family gathered for her 18th birthday.
What's changed?
Nothing. I mean, I haven't even done her laundry.
1 year later, her bedroom remained untouched.
I'm her mom. She's my daughter, and I'm not giving up until I know what happened and where she's at.
Over the years, the prayers and searches continued. But despite the community interest in the case, hope began to fade.
Having a missing child, especially for 9 years, it's the most frustrating thing that a person can go through.
Look how much more aged she is. I could not imagine what she went through for 9 years. My God. Could you imagine knowing that this person is more than likely the person who killed your child for 9 years, and you feel like the police can't do a fucking thing about it, to the extent that somebody else gets hurt.
She's a sweet girl, and we miss her. And I don't know, just it don't seem right. It don't seem right.
Right now, police are looking for a missing woman they say may be in danger.
In September 2016, 21-year-old Jessica Runyons disappeared after leaving a house party and was reported missing. 2 days later, her SUV was found torched near 95th and Blue River Road in Kansas City. Her family distraught.
She's loving, caring. I mean, she helped raise her sisters. She's strong, independent. And we just want her to come home safe.
So this was 2016. I know. It would be a horrific feeling not to know. I couldn't imagine. Yeah. Something else. But I feel like Jessica could have been saved. You know what I mean? I don't like it. I feel like Jessica didn't have to die.
But in April 2017, 7 months after Jessica vanished, shocking news. A mushroom hunter came upon human remains on wooded property in rural Cass County. Now a crime scene, searchers located a second set of remains in that same area.
I can say that we did identify several pieces of evidence.
The first set of remains were quickly identified as Jessica Runyon's.
I think he was 20 or 21 and she was 17. And then it was, almost 10 years later that he committed this homicide.
The Kopetsky family worried the other bones belonged to Kara. Months later, their fears were confirmed.
Well, it's been a long 10 years, and we don't like to use the word closure. We prefer the word resolution.
They did.
And of course, now we are headed into a new phase. We've gotten Kara identified, and now we can have.
So they were found basically at the same place, and I like how they put the memorial up, and it's got the same cross that says their name with their photos and the location that they were found, the little memorial area. They look a lot alike, I think, Southern cats. That's a good question. It does seem like there could be more.
We've gotten Kara identified, and now we can have a funeral and put her to rest. We got her back.
After everything is said and done is when she'll get peace. Once she gets justice, both her and Kara, that's when they're going to get peace.
But
the family did suspect him, but the police couldn't do anything about it. And they didn't have the bodies. There wasn't enough evidence, I guess, to say that they weren't just missing and that they had actually been killed.
That peace would prove to be a long time coming for Kara, Jessica, and their families.
As the investigation expands into what happened to the women, attention turns to a name already known to law enforcement.
Did you kill Jessica? Did you?
Kylr Yust's close connections to both Kara and Jessica.
Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyon's, two vibrant young women killed nearly a decade apart. Years after Kara's death, and within hours of Jessica's disappearance, a name emerges. Someone friends say they saw Jessica with leaving a house party. That person, well known to Kara's family and to police.
Hey, Jess. It's hard to write this letter, but I'm going to start with, I am really happy that you were found. I miss you so much.
Within hours of Jessica Runyon's disappearance and 9 years after anyone last heard from Kara Kopetsky, the two men.
So yeah, I tried to look up his band, but I can't find anything on it. That would be insane. He's a tattoo artist. He's in a band. He's at a house party. Yeah, he was probably popular in the area.
Missing person cases would become linked. Friends of Jessica's told police they saw her leave a house party with a man named Kylr Yust. Yust was also Kara Kopetsky's ex-boyfriend and a person of interest in her 2007 disappearance. Belton police focused on 18-year-old Yust because days before Kara disappeared, she filed a protection order against him. In it.
So we read that, and yeah, he was 18 at the time. She was 17.
Violent accusations in her own handwriting, including that Yust kidnapped, restrained, 1 month ago choked her, and with a knife in his hand threatened to slit her throat.
I am unsure of what he will do next because the abuse has gotten worse over time. He's all about control, and he wanted control over Kara.
Belton police questioned Kylr about his contact with Kara the morning she disappeared. Court documents show he told police he did not have any contact with Kara that day. But phone records revealed a different story, that Kara called Kylr at 9:13 that morning, and he returned her call at 9:20, 1 minute before she's seen on surveillance video leaving the school.
So that was that unknown phone number that we read about. No, he was 18 and she was 17 at the time that she disappeared. He was older with Jessica Runyon, but so was she. He's not He was 18 at the time that Kara disappeared, and she was 17. So not a pedophile, but definitely a monster nonetheless. He does put off Manson vibes.
However, Belton police said that Kylr had an alibi and wasn't in that city the day Kara disappeared. Instead, he was reportedly visiting a great aunt at a Kansas City nursing home. Police also said he passed a lie detector.
The cops have said you've been very cooperative.
I have been, because I don't know anything about where she is or about what happened. I wish I did.
Did you threaten to slit her throat?
No. Didn't.
What happened?
That didn't happen that night. That was before.
Although reminders.
That didn't happen that night. That was before. But how did he pass a lie detector test? Is he that manipulative? Sorry, Julian. I didn't mean to confuse you. It is very early. He seems like a very, angry, passion-driven type of person.
Of Kara's disappearance can be found throughout the community. Years would go by with no clues as to what happened to her.
We still have not received the lead or the information that we need.
Trouble, though, seemed to follow Kylr Yust, including drug charges and an arrest for felony stealing in 2011. That same year, he pleaded guilty to assaulting a pregnant girlfriend, a second woman to allege he was physically abusive.
So she gave birth to the twins, as we read about. That was an ex-girlfriend. He's got kids out there. I hope he has no part of their lives.
According to an order of protection filed, she claimed Yust choked, slapped, and punched her, drew a pentagram on her forehead, and threatened to kill her, her family, and her baby.
You pled guilty. Can you tell us what happened in the Kara Kopetsky case?
I didn't know there was a case.
In 2012, Kylr was handed a 45-month sentence on drug charges. In 2016, he was released from federal prison. A violation of his parole, though, quickly followed, and he was ordered to spend a September weekend in prison. But just days before that was to happen, Jessica Runyons disappeared after leaving a house party. Kylr was friends with Jessica's then-boyfriend, who had left the party early. Witnesses told police they saw Jessica leave in her SUV with Kylr. 2 days later, Jessica's SUV was found burned in Kansas City with no signs of Jessica.
She has a great sense of humor and a wonderful smile. We all love her very much. We miss her. And there's probably not one person in this family that can say anything bad about her.
That same day, court documents state Kylr Yust's half-brother, Jessup Carter, contacted Belton police. He alleged he was with Kylr and that his half-brother, quote, told him that he strangled and killed Jessica and that she was gone, and that Kylr dragged the victim's body into an undisclosed wooded area.
So the brother that he's saying committed these homicides said that he did admit that he killed Jessica. He is smug. Vain.
Jessup also claimed he was with Kylr when he set Jessica's SUV on fire. Jessup said he and Kylr then drove to Jessup's trailer 100 miles away in Edwards, Missouri, where 1 day later police took Kylr into custody. A warrant 41 Action News obtained shows police collected bullets and clothing, fingernail scrapings, and swabbed Kylr's face and hands. In his Benton County mugshot, ointment for what police confirmed were scratches and burns.
So his face right here is burned, that, and then scratches and things like that. Yeah, I see it now. Okay, so this one is explaining more. I wish I could see the Southern Lights. Yeah, we read about it in the beginning, Julianne, that she was pregnant and he choked her unconscious and beat her in the thighs and all kinds of shit. Look, you can see his face is clearly burned there, and there are scratch marks and everything. And who cut his hair? What the hell is that all about? It's all fucked up.
Kylr Yust was then extradited to Jackson County.
Kylr, where's Jessica?
I have no idea, sir.
What happened to your face? Did you get burned?
What happened to your face?
Did you kill Jessica?
Did you? No answer?
At the time, Kara's mom hoped that arrest would finally bring them answers.
Now that he's in custody, hopefully they're interviewing him and getting him to give up and find out where Jessica is and possibly even get some more information about Kara.
But weeks later.
So yeah, I was thinking that about the girlfriend that was pregnant. I think she was very lucky to get out of that situation as well. And I am surprised that she wasn't next. That Cara, the story of Cara reminds me a lot of myself back then and different guys I was with, though none of them did that. Specifically, they were pretty abusive. So it reminded, I don't know, I heard it through that video I played on the first live where I got shut down, and I was really interested and wanted to know more about it.
Still no word.
It's been 5 weeks since we've seen her face. It's been 5 weeks since we've seen her smile. It's been 5 weeks since she's played with her sisters and laughed.
We're just begging people to look on your land. If you've got land that you never farm and you just have it sitting there, look at it. Or if you don't want to or can't, call us. We will definitely come out and look.
Then in April 2017, finally some news.
Breaking tonight at 10 o'clock, search crews rushing to a Cass County area after a mushroom hunter finds the unthinkable.
A mushroom hunter came across a skull and set of bones in a wooded area south of Belton. A search revealed a second set of remains nearby. The area just a few miles from a home where Yust would hang out with friends.
So that's the house where he did his band practice. And he put them in the woods by where he did his band practice. That's interesting. Yeah, he's such an adult talking about what's wrong with your face. I think I remembered seeing that clip from somewhere a while back. Huh. Interesting.
Feel bad for the mother that we didn't know all those years that the daughter was just right there.
In April 2017, one set of remains was identified as Jessica Runyon's. 4 months later, the second set of remains was identified as Kara Kopetsky. In October, Cass County prosecutors charged Yust with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of abandonment of a corpse. He pleaded not guilty.
So he got charged in 2017. I think he was born in 88. So what, he would have been almost 88, 98, 2008, 2000. He would have been 29, almost 30. I think.
Although the families finally had some answers, many questions remained. And little did they know at the time, it would take several more years before Kylr Yust would go on trial.
Coming up,
I'm not okay, and my family's not okay with anything that he did.
a key witness in the case is found dead, and the credibility of the case is questioned.
We are doing.
So this is probably going to talk about his brother committing his self-deletion in the county jail, and then that one officer that was like trying to solve the case by going through unsavory methods.
Our best, working with the information we have to work with in clearing this case.
As the defense team tries to poke holes in the investigation.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Journey for Justice, the trial of Kylr Yust. In 2017, Kylr Yust was behind bars charged with killing Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons. But it would be several more years before anyone would take the stand in Cass County, a source of frustration for both families. Meanwhile, Kylr's attorneys argue that during all this time, there were several other suspects who went ignored.
Look at her in the snow. Isn't that sweet? She probably wasn't much older than that when she went missing. 38. He might have been 38. I could have been off on the numbers.
Kopetsky's case evolved. Her family's frustration grew.
It just solidifies what I had already suspected,
Which is what?
which is that they're not doing their job. They're not trying to find Kara.
They questioned why it took a month for police to release security video from Belton High School the day Kara disappeared. And it wasn't until that summer that anyone opened Kara's locker, and it wasn't the police.
The janitor did, and he said, if you don't come pick these up, we're going to throw them away.
Kara's debit card and backpack were found inside. Citizens eventually circulated a petition demanding the state step in and take the case away from Belton police. Then Ms.
Wow, they didn't even go and look in her locker? What? His ex-girlfriend, who he kids and killed was 17 years old, had taken out a protection order against Kylr that was 18 at the time and was 26 years by the time he got arrested. Yep. And we looked at that protective order earlier in the live, this live or the other one, part 1 of this.
Missouri Governor Matt Blunt responded.
I think I mentioned the Highway Patrol and other state resources that we've made available to local responders.
Just because we don't respond to something doesn't mean we didn't do it. We are doing our best, working with the information we have to work with in clearing this case.
Belton police maintained they were following every lead. But in court documents, Kylr Yust's defense team alleges that wasn't the case, saying authorities quickly focused only on their client. In a motion to dismiss charges in the case, his attorneys alleged, among other things, that investigators failed to validate Kylr's alibi, in which he said he was.
And we went over that, but that's the problem, right? It does seem like you're not doing anything, and because they didn't do the things properly, it left open his ability to dismiss the case in its entirety. Yeah, they dropped the ball big time in this case.
With his grandparents visiting a great aunt at a nursing home. His attorneys claimed police only interviewed Kylr's grandfather, Al Yust, to confirm that alibi, no one else. And they didn't check the visitor's log at the nursing home or talk with Kylr's great aunt. Kylr also said he practiced with his band at a friend's house that day. And one more allegation addressed in pretrial court filings. The defense discovered police gathered cell phone location data from Kylr's phone for other dates in May 2007. But data for May 4th, the day Kara disappeared, is missing.
The devil is in the details, so to speak.
John Paserno is a Kansas City criminal defense attorney who is not affiliated with the case. However, he did tell 41 Action News, in this upcoming trial, the defense will likely attack how police investigated this case.
From what I've read, and even from the state's responses, the investigation is less than what I'm sure the prosecutors would have liked for it to have been.
Kylr Yust.
And that's the problem. Like, we got to make sure to investigate these cases 100%. It left open the door for him to be able to appeal.
Attorneys allege police ignored other possible suspects. In fact, police questioned another person, but no notes of that interview can be found. A recording of that interview was eventually discovered in a police department desk drawer in 2020, after the Belton detective in the case retired. And in an unusual twist, in April 2017, Kylr Yust's half-brother, Jessup Carter, was charged with resisting arrest during a traffic stop that occurred the same day police found Jessica Runyon's burned SUV. In the back seat of his vehicle at the time, Kylr Yust. Kylr wasn't taken into custody, though, at that time because a warrant had not yet been issued for his arrest.
We just want Kara and Jessica, we want those families to have some justice served. And if he's found to be guilty, we want them to be we just want them to feel better at night that he's finally been away, and I'm not okay and my family's not okay with anything that he did.
The next year, Jessup was also charged with arson for setting fire to his uncle's house at 59th in Manchester, a location that could have ties to the case, as the defense alleges it may have been a crime scene.
I find that interesting, and I wonder why the half-brother committed arson to that particular house. Like, was he implicated in this in any way, and is that why he did that?
But if Jessup knew anything about Jessica or Kara's deaths or the alleged cover-up of the crimes, jurors won't hear his testimony. While in custody at the Jackson County Detention Center in September of 2018, Jessup somehow covered a cell camera and then hanged himself. A notebook and suicide note found in his jail cell were not collected and saved. The defense team.
See, that's another problem. Why didn't you save that? Like, it could have said anything. It could have said Kyle did this. What if you had the confession right there? I witnessed it. My brother did this. Like, there's a lot. And like Hannah said, hopefully the police will learn from this.
Also alleges a Kansas City police officer, Joshua Myerer, conducted his own investigation, which included interviewing witnesses, despite being told more than once not to work the case.
So this is about the officer that was doing behind the scenes stuff. It had the his password, login password was Kylr Yust. Yust,
concern
whatever.
that his contact with witnesses tainted the witnesses' statements. The state maintains, though, that Myrer didn't speak with any witnesses who hadn't already been interviewed by Belton police or the FBI. Still, in court documents filed months later, the defense states a Kansas City police detective illegally tracked Yust with an electronic device that was obtained without a warrant. 41 Action News reached out to KCPD. A spokesperson provided a statement that reads, quote, "We generally do not comment on pending litigation, which this matter is, to ensure fairness for all sides in the matter," end quote. The judge in the case denied the defense's motion to dismiss the charges. As to whether all of this is enough to distract a jury,
If they know someone is guilty based on, these 1, 2, 3, or 4 things, that they're going to all of a sudden just let this person go free because the law enforcement didn't do a good job. On the other hand, if it's a close call and they're thinking up there while they're deliberating, if law enforcement had done A, B, and C, we know the answer to this question. And if we
And I have to ask that. Kat said, "This is why we must stay on law enforcement and ask and be nosy," right? Yeah, unfortunately, they won't. Must have left a lot of, yeah, I think they left a lot of evidence behind, and there could have been blood in that house. But why the half brother would burn it down, I don't know, unless he was somehow involved in it.
knew the answer to this question, we'd know whether or not, we could find him guilty.
while the facts of this case will be laid out in court, it's important to remember that at the heart of this trial, there are two families who've experienced heartbreak that's hard for most of us to comprehend.
Jessica's favorite color is teal, and Kara's is purple.
The families of Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons will forever be linked due to tragedy. Sadly, there are other families who have also experienced this type of grief. Connie Sheely is the board president for Parents of Murdered Children, a national organization. While Sheely doesn't know Kara and Jessica's families personally, she does know the grief they feel and the trepidation they're likely experiencing as they prepare to face the man they believe killed their daughters. Still, she says being a part of the court process is important and can help to finally bring families a sense of closure.
Our loved ones cannot go there, cannot attend, cannot speak for themselves. So as survivors and family members and friends, that's our job to speak for them.
Her advice.
I couldn't imagine what they're going through. I mean, God bless them. Kat said, "It's a different world now. I did respect and trust law enforcement. True crime world has changed that." There's a lot of times they get it wrong, but more times than not, they get it right.
Advice to the families: lean on loved ones, remember why you're there, and focus on all the positive memories of both young ladies.
I love you, Jessica. That will never change. And until we meet again, fly high, you sweet angel. This isn't goodbye. It's simply an I'll see you later.
She was robbed of her life, and she deserves justice, and it's up to us now to make sure that she gets that justice.
I think it could have been both of them too. I mean, I think it's a possibility that it could have been both of them, Miss King, him and the stepbrother. And the stepbrother might have felt so guilty and knew that everything was coming to a head that he didn't want to be implicated in that. We were reading in the document that he had a wife, I think. And like for his wife to find that out, maybe that's why he did it. So he said, "I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all the evidence by burning the house down. And that way it'll hide everything." And then he did what he did. Scary to think about. It's like as a nurse, if there's a high profile case and a nurse was at fault, we get extra training to help us understand what went wrong and how we can avoid it. So police have to do that too, in my opinion. I hope they do. I do. I hope that they learn from it and have extra training on how not to do that again. Carolina said, I'm just glad they caught the dude. He thought he could never get away he thought he could get away with her homicide. Seriously. Thought that everything would just go away and Kara would be forgotten. But she was for like 10 years. I mean, it was so obvious that he had done it. The last text messages on the phone were between him and her. Like, the fact that he wasn't arrested and was able to kill Jessica upsets me because I don't think that ever should have happened. I feel like they should have got him for Cara in the beginning.
Justice. These two families hope they will see soon.
Hey, Angelina.
Opening statements are set for Monday, April 5th. 41 Action News is committed to bringing you full coverage of this trial, from crews who will be stationed at the Cass County Courthouse to expert analysis on each day's testimony. We will also be bringing you updates on all of our streaming platforms, including a special webpage you can find at kshb.com/Kylr Yust.
Let me try that real quick. KSBH. KSBH. Okay, hold on. I'm looking for the actual trial. Double murder trial, your questions answered. Hold on. I wish it'd quit jumping. This is a witness in the Runyons case. Let's see what this is. I hate the way it jumps. It looks like just an article, but we'll see what it like, if it's short videos or if it actually shows like the whole testimony of that person. If this shows the whole testimony, then we're going to come back and do some more of this tomorrow. Because now I'm curious as to what actually happened. It's just a...
Now taking the stand. Today marked day 4 in the double murder trial of Kylr Yust. He's accused of killing 2 young women, Cara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons, nearly 10 years apart. Our reporter Andres Gutierrez has more from the courtroom.
Because I killed her and left her out in the wilderness alone. Today, jurors finished listening to the FBI recording that Kylr Yust's attorneys fought to keep out of the double murder trial, made possible by one of his former girlfriends wearing a wire. This really turns you on that I killed a girl, huh? It doesn't really turn me on. Yeah, well, you're saying all that one day. Just because you're trying to get me to confess. But that girlfriend, Caitlin Ferris, said she cooperated with law enforcement because she felt it was right.
If I was in that position, I would have wanted somebody to do the same for me.
It wasn't just lovers Yust would confess to, according to testimony jurors have heard so far. Yust allegedly drunkenly told a fellow friend about Cara Kopetsky's death.
I knew I was the devil when I strangled the life out of them. Those were his exact words.
Wow. So Kim said, I Googled where I can watch the Kylr trial. And Fox Sports and media wasn't allowed to live stream the trial. But, and I get that, but like they've obviously got recordings from inside the courtroom. So it's got to be somewhere. Maybe they have links. Okay, I'm going to look for it this evening. Hey, Ashton, good to see you. Miss North said, I think the stepbrother knew what Kylr did and the guilt just ate him up. Kylr probably threatened him. Probably. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I'm going to look for it.
Yust's alleged anger and alcohol use are a recurring theme during testimony this week, including the night he showed up with Jessica Runyons at a house party hosted by Alan Alvarado. His alleged actions the night of September 8th, 2016 eventually led him to getting kicked out.
After he grabbed your arms, you really didn't want to be around him anymore that night.
Well, yeah, it scared me. I was scared.
It was the last time anyone would see Jessica alive. Her remains were found near Kara's.
It was the longest 7 months of my life. Every chance I got, her father and I would search.
Although Yust made confessions in Kara's death, he maintained his innocence involving Jessica's disappearance. His loved ones think otherwise.
You
Yeah.
know where she's at, Tyler.
I don't know where she's at, Mom. That's the thing, I don't.
You drug her out in the woods somewhere. You know where she's at. Tyler, please, if you love me, tell them where she's at so our parents can have her back.
Now, the parents of the two young women hope justice will be served. In Harrisonville, Andres Gutierrez, 41 Action News.
Oh my gosh, Basil, stop, baby. I'm gonna keep looking for that. I'm gonna see what I can find on it tonight because I want to see what all he had to say. I want to hear that whole testimony, the entirety of it. I want to see if the ex-girlfriend testified about how he had choked her and all the things. I am gonna go for the day. I do appreciate y'all being here. Yeah, I'm just scanning real quick. I'm not seeing much of it. But I do appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for the support. I appreciate y'all going through these cases with me and all of the talking that we get to do about it. I could talk to myself and do this stuff by myself, but it would be no fun that way. And I like to go through it with you guys and see what your thoughts and speculations are on these cases. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I will work on trying not to, like I said, I've been submitting a crap load of FOIA requests lately. So I will work on trying to get different content so that the lives don't go down like they have. Like, and even when they do go down, it's supposed to come back relatively quickly after it says stream unavailable, after you shut it down and stop live streaming whatever you were. So it's kind of weird. But I'm glad that you went to go see Nanny, and I hope that everything was good. They were on Sarah Plake and Caitlin Kant as well. Okay, let me write that down. All right, I'm going to go for the day, and I will be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for everything. I can't wait to talk to y'all tomorrow because we got more stuff to talk about. And I will see y'all then. If nobody has told you, you are enough, you are important, you are special, and you are loved. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.